Hi, this is Rebecca from ChemKnits, and I'm here to give you some final conclusions from the live dyeing that we did earlier this week with a bunch of different colors of Wilton's food coloring. In addition to the 4 skeins we dyed live, I have some yarn that was dyed with Wilton's black and Wilton's violet to have as a comparison. Earlier this week, we dyed the 100 grams of 100% wool fiber with Wilton's Delphinium Blue, Wilton's Royal Blue, Burgundy, and Brown. In every case of dip dyeing, the ones we did previously and the ones we did live, we made a dye bath with the equivalent of 2 tablespoons of white vinegar and 7 cups of water. We mixed half a teaspoon of the icing color, the Wilton's icing color, in half a cup of water and added that to the dye bath once the water was already at a boil. Reduced the heat and then dip dyed the yarn. Now in this angle you can finally see some of the purple that we got from the royal blue. There is some red number 3 in the dye, which binds first as we know, and that's part of what gives us these beautiful gradients. But it's kind of fun to see that based on everything else that's in the ingredients, that we really got very different, almost fuchsia, a dusty purple, and then a very blue violet color with the royal blue. And even the blues are different. Clearly, there's a lot more blue in royal blue than there is in Wilton's violet because of the intensity of this color that we were able to get at the end. I think that if per half teaspoon of dye, if there was more blue in the violet yarn, then maybe we would be able to achieve something similar. But I think that we would need to at least double the amount of dye to get anywhere near this shade. And then with the Delphinium Blue, we get this really nice teal because I believe that the food coloring has some yellow in it. And we get this dusty blue when we're dyeing with the black food coloring, but the black also is extremely saturated with the amount of dye that it has, which you can see for how deep of a color we got with equivalent amounts of food coloring. I think that the results of the burgundy are really striking. We saw that when we were dip dyeing that the end finished with almost this green color left behind. And so when that bound pretty evenly over the skein of yarn, we see this dustier pink versus the vibrant fuchsia that we start out with down here. It's hard to say that if we were to leave some more white at the end until the water really was green with no pink left in it, if we would see the green. Obviously, the color at the end is much less saturated than the color at the beginning, and so I think that if we were to wait, maybe it would be really hard to see anything at all. Now, if we were going to remove, once the water started to turn green, if we removed the first end that we dipped, then just dipped the last end, then maybe we would have a shot because that residual green would have less yarn to bind to, which would make the color darker. I think that the color that surprised me the most is the brown. This might be hard for you to see, but there is some tonal variation where you can almost see the red that binds first down here, and then the browns get a little less red as you go up. But overall, we've got a really beautiful camel color, which looks pretty much nothing like the color you would have expected from the bottle. I might have expected this from Wilton's copper food coloring. But I think that brown might be an example where if you really wanted to get that deep chocolate brown, you're going to need to use a lot more food coloring to get there. Overall, we've now shown that you can break numerous colors of Wilton icing color and get stunning, stunning gradients starting with a single color of food coloring. But imagine what would happen if you start to mix these colors together. And maybe if you added a little bit of black to your royal blue, or mix the black and the burgundy and so forth. You could see very, very different results, and you could still get these stunning broken gradients, and it would be really, really fun to play with. I also look forward to exploring a lot of the other Wilton's icing colors that you have suggested to me, and I think that hopefully we'll do another live dyeing session in the future. To support more fun dyeing experiments like these, make sure you check out the Dye Pot Weekly Kickstarter campaign. You can back the project through October 18th, so don't wait too long or you might lose your opportunity to get some original hand-dyed yarn by ChemKnits. Thank you so much for watching this recap. I look forward to creating more beautiful colors with you in the future.